I had imagined my birthday differently. The candles, the laughter, the warm family moments I thought I could count on. Instead, when I leaned forward to blow out the candles, I felt the cold smear of frosting against my cheek, then the weight of the cake collapsing into my face. For a second, the room went silent, then laughter erupted, from some of my cousins, from my uncle, and worst of all, from my sibling. I froze, stunned, as cream dripped down my chin and stained my new dress. I forced myself not to cry. My sibling stood across the table, grinning as though this humiliation was the highlight of the evening. My mother half-heartedly scolded, my father muttered something about kids fooling around, but I wasn't a kid anymore. I was an adult. And I knew this wasn't an accident or a joke. I excused myself quickly, locking the bathroom door. In the mirror, I saw a version of myself I barely recognized, small, embarrassed, powerless. My hands trembled as I wiped the frosting away. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a childish prank. The way my sibling smirked, the way certain relatives avoided my eyes, it felt orchestrated. When I stepped out again, the party had moved on. Music played, glasses clinked, but my eyes stayed on my sibling. They were whispering with my aunt, and when they noticed me watching, they stopped. My stomach turned. Later that night, while everyone else chatted in the living room, I went to the kitchen for some air. That's when I heard it, my sibling's voice, low but sharp. It worked. Everyone saw. She looked pathetic. My heart raced. Who were they talking to? What did they mean by, "it worked"? I pressed my back against the wall, careful not to make a sound. Their footsteps moved away, leaving me in silence except for the pounding in my chest. At that moment, I realized this wasn't about cake. This was about something deeper, something meant to break me. The next morning, the house felt colder than usual. My relatives left one by one, pretending nothing unusual had happened. Only my sibling walked around with an air of triumph, as though they had won something. I couldn't let it go. I tried to act normal, but questions consumed me. Why humiliate me like that? Why on my birthday? Why with so many witnesses? The memory of their words in the kitchen replayed endlessly. It worked. Everyone saw. I decided to search their room while they were out. It felt wrong, but I needed answers. Their desk drawers were messy, filled with old notebooks and receipts. At first, nothing stood out, until I found a folded piece of paper tucked between books. It wasn't addressed to anyone, but it was written in my sibling's handwriting. She doesn't deserve any of it. They'll see who really belongs. Embarrass her first, then prove she's not capable. Step 2, expose her weakness at the meeting. My hands shook. I had no idea what meeting they meant, but the note made one thing clear: my sibling wasn't acting alone. Someone was encouraging this, maybe even orchestrating it. That evening, I confronted them subtly. Why'd you do it? The cake, the whispering? I asked. They shrugged. Lighten up. Everyone thought it was funny. Their smirk lingered, but beneath it, I caught something else: fear. The next clue came unexpectedly. During dinner, my father mentioned the upcoming family business meeting, the one where responsibilities would be divided now that our grandfather had stepped back. My heart sank. That was the meeting. My sibling's plan wasn't about jokes. It was about cutting me out. I sat quietly, listening, every word confirming my suspicion. They wanted me humiliated, discredited, unworthy in front of the people who decided our future. As the table buzzed with conversation, I stayed silent, but inside, a decision was forming. If they wanted to expose me, I would be ready. And this time, I wouldn't be the one silenced. By the day of the meeting, I had rehearsed every possible scenario in my head. I wasn't going to sit quietly while my sibling painted me as a fool. Still, my hands sweated as I dressed, my reflection reminding me of the girl with cake on her face, but different now. Stronger. The meeting was held in our grandfather's old study. The air smelled of leather and dust, the heavy table crowded with relatives. My siblings sat across from me, their smirk already in place. When it was my turn to speak, my sibling cut in first. "She can't be trusted with responsibility," they said confidently. "You all saw how careless she is, even at her own birthday." Their words stung, but I didn't flinch. I stood, pulling the folded paper from my pocket. My voice shook at first but steadied as I read aloud. "Embarrass her first, then prove she's not capable. Step 2, expose her weakness at the meeting." Gasps filled the room. My sibling's face drained of color. "You planned it," I said firmly. "Every bit of it. The cake, the whispers, all to make me look weak." They stammered, denying, but the handwriting was undeniable. My aunt's eyes darted away. My father frowned deeply. My mother whispered something under her breath. For once, the silence worked in my favor. Still, part of me hurt. This was my own sibling. Why? Why go this far? I wanted to shout, to demand answers, but I swallowed it down. Their betrayal was clear, and everyone saw it. As the meeting continued, my siblings sat in silence, their earlier confidence gone. But I knew this wasn't over. Betrayal doesn't end with exposure, it festers, it reshapes. And I had a choice: let it break me or turn it into the moment I found my voice. That evening, the family gathered again. No decorations, no music, no reason to celebrate, only the weight of everything that had happened. My siblings sat across from me, their eyes avoiding mine, their fingers tapping the table as though every second was unbearable. The air felt heavy, but I wasn't the one suffocating anymore. I stood slowly, feeling dozens of eyes on me. My hands no longer trembled. "I won't pretend nothing happened," I said. "On my birthday, my sibling decided to humiliate me in front of all of you. You laughed. You excused it. You thought I'd stay quiet." I paused, letting the silence stretch. But I didn't stay quiet. I placed the folded note in the middle of the table, smoothing it with deliberate care. "This isn't a prank. This is betrayal, planned, written down, carried out step by step." My siblings shifted, their face pale. Some relatives leaned closer, reading the words they couldn't deny. Others looked away, ashamed. "Do you see me now?" I asked, my voice steady. "Because I'm not the weak one in this family. I'm the one who survived your laughter, your silence, your betrayal. And now, I'm the one who chooses what happens next." The room stayed quiet, heavier than before. Even the clock on the wall seemed to hold its tick. My sibling opened their mouth, searching for an excuse, but no words came. They weren't in control anymore, I was. Then I did the one thing no one expected. I stood taller and looked straight at my sibling. "I forgive you," I said, my tone sharp as steel. "Not because you deserve it, but because I refuse to carry your weight on my shoulders any longer. You don't own me. Not my dignity, not my future, not my voice." Gasps rippled through the room. Forgiveness wasn't weakness, it was my declaration of freedom. My siblings' face twisted, torn between anger and confusion. They had wanted me small, broken, silenced. Instead, I had turned their plan into the moment I reclaimed everything they tried to steal. I turned toward the door, the entire room watching me. For the first time, I felt no shame, no doubt, only strength. Behind me, no one spoke. That silence wasn't emptiness, it was power. I walked out of the room knowing one thing clearly: my siblings' betrayal had been their biggest mistake. Because by trying to silence me, they had given me the loudest voice of all.